there, Claude. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I hope you're well too in sunny Boston.
Yeah, everything's well. It's a Friday.
Yeah, so that's the main thing, isn't it? Yeah, it was a pleasure to speak to you actually, and sort of been trolling the internet and everything, and noticed that you've got a new course out. And I just wondered if you could give us a brief overview, just a general overview of what the course is all about. Your guitar course is all about.
Yeah. So it's called Your Blues Repertoire, and it's really all about building a repertoire of songs of blues songs. I've learned blues songs in the past. I've actually taught like blues courses in the past, but I kind of went through some different phases of my own development in the last couple of years, where I was at a point where I couldn't really call myself a blues player, like and I wasn't even sure. I didn't know that that's really what I wanted to be or I could be. I was just to rewind, like I was always very inspired by the blues artists like B.B. King and Clapton and Jimi Hendrix, and so like from the beginning, I was always just trying to work on that kind of like melodic, lead sound, I guess you could say. And then and then later I would go back and try to round myself out with more rhythm stuff, learning songs. But it was always kind of like these separate things. Like I had my lead style, and then I could play songs.
Yeah.
And then I kind of went down this rabbit hole of just trying to figure out what to do next. And I worked on I studied, I guess like you could say, advanced blues stuff, country blues, where I would have the bass lines and I would have all these complicated arrangements that I would learn from books and stuff, but it wasn't like part of my style. It wasn't natural. It was just like me memorizing stuff and not really understanding. So I went back and then I was like, all right, if I'm going to, I guess I was like watching blues guys, on YouTube or whatever. I was like, I should do that. Like, this is like really the direction. So I just said, let me just learn a bunch of blues songs, try to get, because I had a repertoire of like 200 rock songs or something under my belt, but let me just really dig into the blues, and I started putting together arrangements of like blues songs. And at first it was hard because I didn't have like as many ideas, or it was kind of all the same. Like that's one of the challenges that I always found with blues is it tends to all sound the same, especially with the 12-bar patterns and stuff. So I was trying to create something unique, like a unique arrangement for each song that I was working on. And that kind of became this little collection of songs and I didn't actually have the thought initially that it's going to be a course. It was just me working on my style and working on songs. And then later I said, hey, let me just turn this into a course. And
that's a brilliant inspiration. I think that's fantastic. So you were probably learning yourself as you were going along as well, weren't you?
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm learning tons. And just finding out what works for me. A lot of the cliches are cliches for a reason. Like I would listen to these old blues tracks.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to pick out a specific riff because there's a couple layers in the track and it all kind of sounds the same, but there's a groove, right? There's like a thump sound or something. And so when you play these it's very simple. It's like that's the first thing you probably learn when you learn blues guitars, like the shuffle. But I actually learned like how to use it in a song, and it's like the little things that you add on to that, like maybe an intro, or maybe like a little riff. Say if go to key of A, like instead of just this, like you could do something like. And just adding in the little riffs. What works really well is like combining your dominant seventh chords with your pentatonics. That kind of thing. So I kind of built up like a small but effective collection of riffs that work for me. A lot of times I'll do the shuffle things. Sometimes I'll do kind of bass line oriented stuff. Where I got the root fifth going, but I have like, In the course of studying all this stuff, I looked at different things like Travis picking and stuff, and I noticed like there's an overlap with the country blues and the Travis picking where
So from my
you're kind of
perspective,
hitting those.
it seems quite original what you're doing. It's you've developed it as opposed to just done the cliche of picking something up and modifying what other people have done. It seems that what you're doing.
I've sort of deconstructed it in a way, yeah. Like with the Travis picking, another thing I noticed was like I had to put down the pick to. You have this kind of pattern, so it's like, but then you can simplify that. Anyway, so it's like I'm like very, I don't know, I guess over analytical sometimes. It can be a problem, but it's like I had to like understand like deeply to what I'm actually doing to be confident to like move forward. I can't just.
So what sort of
and that's like not necessarily a good thing. Like sometimes it's better to just follow what's been tried and true. But I'm very obsessive, and so I'm like I need to like figure out. So it's like I figured out what works for me and sort of made it work. And
that's really interesting. It's really I like the approach. That's brilliant. What sort of level of player is this sort of geared to?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had this course a long time ago. I don't think you have to be advanced. This is definitely for intermediate players or even experienced players that, I think there's two things you can get out of it. One is like the kind of the guitar riff type or theory type stuff, like I was maybe just talking about. The other is just the songs themselves. So even if you know a lot, this is just going to help you like get everything in one package. Yeah. I go back and watch my own courses sometimes later when I forget, like, what was that arrangement I did or what was that intro, So I'll go back and watch it, and just good to have things all in one place. Like, so, maybe it's not for a complete beginner, but I'd say anyone who can play your basic chords, maybe your pentatonic scale, and and you want to take your playing to the next level, or you just want to like get more into the blues.
That's brilliant.
That's what it's all about.
So it's more than just learning a song. That's why it's much broader than that. And
I like to think. Yeah, I like to think it's not just a random collection of songs or even of blues songs, but trying to tie it together with some themes in there. Simple things, simple turnarounds. That's one thing that I found is like you can play something super easy to play, like that bass line walking up from the root to the fifth. But it's like
like it.
It's sort of like if you can combine some of those notes with the other, it's like that's the foundation for getting the advanced stuff going. So even if at first you're only playing, then it's like you can build on that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That's great. I mean, I'm actually fascinated by this. It's really nice. It's quite refreshing to hear someone actually doing something a bit more original like that. So,
okay.
You've got the course. How's it actually structured? How's the actual course structured?
So I sort of like I just go through like song by song and try to build up like the first song, and it sort of reflects like my own process of like the first arrangement I wrote was like just super simple, so I teach that first. I think the first one was like just a basic strum on a dominant seventh chord. That kind of a riff, and just getting the groove down. I was teaching in like counting like 1, 2, and 4 and just like the basic stuff. Like okay, go into a ninth chord on the 4, and then maybe a simple turnaround. And then the next song, maybe I'll do a different turnaround and just try to build it. Obviously, there's going to be some repetition. Okay. Some of the songs are not like your straightforward 12-bar blues. Yeah. There's a couple B.B. King songs in there that have some different structures. But just trying to go through. Another big thing is like for me was like even though I'm not a very good singer or not a great singer, just trying to sing a little bit more with the blues. Yep. Just if nothing else from a practical standpoint, because, unless you're a famous blues guitarist, it's going to be hard to get singers that are always going to be there for you on the gig. I feel like you should be able to carry the song.
Yes.
I've always like advocated, like if you're playing songs, you should be able to at least hum the melody, because the melody and the chords together. And another thing I want to say is like, I always had the idea of like you should be able to play the song with just you and your guitar as an arrangement, because from there you can always go to a band format or playing with other people, and you can adapt. It's very hard to go the other way if you can't carry the tune yourself. If you're only used to playing with other people, that was like the big problem for me when I was, but when I was growing up, before we had all these, YouTube lessons and everything, it was sort of hard to put things together because I was trying to like, play it like the record or something. And that doesn't necessarily lead itself to being able to just play it and carry the song with you and your guitar. So that was like part of the,
So it seems
that was part of the approach, was just be able to have this solid core based on simple things like those strums or the shuffle patterns or whatever. And then from there, when you play with other people, you can always go the other way and not hold down the rhythm all the time like that.
It's great. The way you're talking about it with such enthusiasm is great. And it also, for me, it looks like, if you're going through this course, there's a massive desire to want to go on to the next bit because you've made it interesting and a little bit different from the standard. So I think that's absolutely great. I would really admire you for trying to do that. I think it's quite a unique approach from what the stuff I've seen recently on the internet. I think that's absolutely great. And also you're playing an SG, which is what I play, which is even better.
That's interesting. That's a whole new topic. That's a whole other topic. I mean,
mine's black and yellow. So
I don't know if you want to talk about that. I like, when I started out, all my heroes played Strats: Stevie Ray, Hendrix, Clapton. But I always found it harder to get the right tone just from the single coil pickups. So I have a Strat, but this is sort of my daily driver type of guitar. Also, I have smaller hands, so not super small, but kind of average to small hands. So the shorter neck scale works for me, especially when I'm trying to play. This is really not necessarily related to the blues, but it's like when I'm trying to play the shreddy stuff. I have more of it's easier on the neck. So
I know the thing. So then, to summarise, or to finish up rather, how much is your course? What's it called? And what's included?
I think it's $49. I forget exactly what I think we might have changed the price. I'm going to be coming out with a volume 2 at some point, so we'll have some package deals as well. But it's called Your Blues Repertoire.
Okay, that's fantastic. So
that's
brilliant. So is there anything else you want to tell our viewers, our millions of viewers that are watching? Anything else you'd like to sort of add before we conclude?
I mean, it's just I don't know. It's like if you're into the blues, build your blues repertoire, whether you buy the course or not. There's a lot of power in just putting songs together, and what you can do is record yourself. Send it to your best friend or something. I always find that gives me like a motivation to do a really good take if I'm at home just recording. Say, let me send this to Charlie. Let me just try to record something, and you'll quickly see you're not as it's like, well, I'll speak for myself. I'm not as good as I thought I was a second ago. I thought I sounded great, and then I hit the record button. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of mistakes there. So that's a great tip. Record yourself, and just keep working on it. Work on the groove too. Like that's like another big secret I found. Like just the sense of groove, but like tapping my foot, getting my body into it, and just really like just being tight with the rhythm just will take you places.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you. I appreciate you joining us early-ish in the morning after I've had a chance to have lunch. You probably haven't had anything yet. So I'd just like to go. Thanks very much, Claude. I really wish you the best with the course, and any updates, love to hear from them. And if you need anything else from me to have another review or anything, just let us know. I'm more than happy to do that, because I'm really impressed and I appreciate your time.
All right, cool. Yeah, thanks, guys.
We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye now.